All right, let's jump straight into Isaac Asimov's classic, The Stars Like Dust. Now, if you're thinking this is just another story about spaceships and far-off planets, think again. We're about to pull back the curtain on a universe absolutely dripping with political assassination, brutal imperial rule, and a conspiracy. Oh man, this conspiracy is so huge it spans the entire galaxy. Let's get right into it. So the story kicks off, not with some huge explosion, but with this tiny little sound. Imagine this. You're a student, you're on a version of Earth that's, well, it's radioactive now, and you're jolted awake by this whisper. He has no idea, but he's just woken up inside what's supposed to be his own tomb. So let's meet our main character, Biron Farrill. Now, this guy is the son of a super powerful nobleman, and he's literally 3 days away from graduating college. The whole future's ahead of him, right? Well, not exactly. Turns out someone has decided he's not going to live to see that graduation day. And the way they try to take him out is just chillingly precise. Okay, so first, they plant a canister of anesthetic to make sure he stays knocked out. Then, they jam his door from the outside so there's no escape. And for the grand finale, a radiation bomb just sitting in his closet, ticking down to go off before sunrise. I mean, this isn't some random attack. This is a cold, calculated execution. He's saved at the absolute last second by another student, a guy named Sander Jonti. And as soon as that happens, the whole story just starts to unravel. Biron quickly realizes, uh-oh, this wasn't some stupid college prank. No, this was the first shot fired in a war that stretches all the way across the galaxy. So suddenly, Biron's living in two completely different worlds. In one world, the official story, the university is desperately trying to sweep this under the rug, calling it a harmless hazing incident, anything to avoid bad press. But then there's the grim reality Jonti lays out for him. The same empire that just executed his father? Well, they've come to finish the job. And who's behind all this? The Tyrannis. Yeah, you gotta know about these guys. They're this ruthless empire that basically steamrolled all the rich, powerful nebular kingdoms. Their whole game is about force, crushing taxes, and sticking puppet leaders on every planet they conquer just to keep everyone in line. Total control, that's their MO. And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The one that just changes everything for Biron. Why would this gigantic, all-powerful empire go through all this trouble to get rid of one college kid? I mean, what could he possibly know? The need to find that answer is what forces him to flee Earth, kicking off this desperate run for his life. All right, so Biron is officially a fugitive. His journey starts when Jonti sends him off to another planet, Rhodia, with his super cryptic message for its leader. But, of course, nothing goes according to plan. His path takes this wild turn, and he ends up with two allies you would just never, ever expect. Instead of teaming up with the director he was sent to meet, he ends up escaping with the director's daughter, Artemisia, who is totally fiery and defiant, and her kind of weird but brilliant cousin, Gillbret. Talk about a motley crew. You've got the marked man, the rebel princess, and the eccentric inventor. And what do? They manage to steal a heavily armed Tyrannian warship and literally blast their way out of there. And where are they headed? To a place that might just be a myth. A legendary secret world, the rebellion's hidden base, supposedly tucked away deep inside the Horsehead Nebula. And their only lead, their only guide, is Gillbret, who claims he was shipwrecked there years ago. I mean, think about it. It is an absolutely desperate gamble, banking everything on one guy's unproven story. But here's the thing. They're not just looking for a place to hide. They're hunting for a weapon. And no, I'm not talking about some giant laser or a fleet of ships. This is something way, way more powerful. See, at the very heart of this whole rebellion is the search for a lost document. It's supposed to be from ancient Earth, like thousands of years old. And it's not a schematic for a superweapon. It doesn't have military secrets. What it has is an idea. A political blueprint so powerful, so revolutionary, that it could just tear the entire Tyranni Empire apart from the inside out. This is what Biron's father died looking for, and it's what the rebellion sees as its one and only hope. Okay, and now we get to the twists. This is where the story just flips the table. Everything Biron thinks he knows, everything he's been risking his life for, it's all about to get turned completely inside out. So, first up, they finally meet the supposed big boss of the rebellion, this powerful guy called the Autarch of Lingane. And guess who it is? Sander Jonti. Yeah, the same guy who saved Biron back on Earth. It turns out he's the one who sold out Biron's father to the Tyranni. The whole thing was a setup for his own power grab. The guy who started him on this quest was the villain all along. Next twist. Biron, being a smart guy, finally runs the numbers on Gillbret's story, and he realizes there is no way, just no way. The statistical odds of being randomly stranded on one specific habitable planet inside that giant nebula are astronomical. We're talking something like 250 quadrillion to 1. The rebel world, it's a fantasy. It never existed. And all of this leads to the final, most brilliant twist of all. The real rebellion, it's not hiding out in some distant nebula. No, it's been hiding in plain sight the entire time, and it's being led by the one person nobody would ever suspect, Artemisia's father, Director Hinrik. You know, the guy everyone thought was a weak, bumbling fool, a puppet for the Tyrannin. Turns out, that whole personality was an act, a mask he wore for decades. So, okay, the real mastermind is revealed, the traitor is exposed, the fake destination is debunked, but we still have one giant loose end, right? What in the galaxy is actually written on that ancient document from Earth? This is when Director Hinrik finally lays it all out. He explains that the document's real power isn't about military tactics. It's a blueprint for a completely new kind of society, one where all the old titles, all the old power structures, your khans, your autarchs, your directors, your ranchers, they're just gone, wiped from the board. I mean, think about that. If you get rid of all the rulers, all the hierarchy, what's left? What could possibly take their place? How could an entire galaxy function without anyone in charge?
The answer is just one word, and it's an explosive one. People. That's it. The document is the plan for a system where ordinary people, not lords, not kings, not anybody born into power, are the ones who rule themselves.
So in the end, the ultimate weapon that could bring down this massive empire wasn't some super ship or secret army. It was an idea that had been lost for thousands of years. Democracy. It's a concept so totally alien to this galaxy of kings and emperors that the Tyranni wouldn't even know where to begin to fight it. And that's really the question Asimov leaves us chewing on, isn't it? In a universe that's totally dominated by brute force and absolute control, could the most powerful weapon of all actually be a forgotten idea, just waiting for someone to find it again? It really makes you wonder, what powerful ideas from our own past might be sitting on a shelf, just waiting to shape our future? Something to think about.